Well, 1 year ago at this point in training camp, Russell Wilson was just a guy trying to get a shot at some reps with the first team in practice with the Seahawks. And as the great 20th century philosopher Ferris Bueller once said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once, you could miss it. Russell Wilson isn't missing much these days. A year later, his warp speed ascendance to the top of the quarterback food chain is the biggest reason why Seattle believes they are Super Bowl bound in 2013. Colleen Dominguez with more on the man who's now the man in Seattle.
When you look back at last season, what was your favorite moment?
It's a tough question. You have a lot of them during the season. My favorite moment was probably beating the Patriots. I think that was kind of the coming out game for me, at least. And then going to Chicago, beating them in Soldier Field was pretty amazing too. Those are probably my two favorite. And then just thinking about winning our first playoff game. We haven't won a playoff game on the road in a long, long time, for the Seahawks, and winning that on the road in the fashion that we did, and then going to Atlanta and playing in a tough environment, and then coming down the wire, coming back, 20 points, with only 12 minutes left, and then, losing the game in the fashion that we did. It's a tough moment, but also a good moment because I was looking forward to the future.
I know, because there was that quote I read that you got on the bus after the Atlanta game, and you went up to Coach Carroll and basically said, I like where we're at, you're already thinking ahead to next season. Most guys would still be worrying about just being a minute away from the NFC Championship game.
Well, you're definitely, upset about it. I'm not going to say that I wasn't. As a competitor, you want to play in every big moment, every big game possible. And we were 30 seconds away, and to think about that, you think about, oh, what could I have done better? But at the same time, you also think about, okay, what do we have coming for the future? And I think that we have a great football team. And at the end of the day, every year's different, though. Everybody's looking forward to high expectations and all that outside. But at the same time, we have to ignore the noise and realize, okay, our expectations are probably higher than anybody else's. And so, I think the biggest thing for us is, can we live up to those expectations on a daily basis? And if we can do that, we give ourselves a good shot to be successful.
You don't strike me as the kind of guy that would maybe have a chip on his shoulder. And when you went down to the third round in the draft and people said, oh, his height's an issue, this is, this, that, and the other. Some guys would use that as fuel. You don't strike me as that kind of guy.
I'm a little bit of both. I think for me, it fuels your fire when somebody tells you you can't do something. I've been told that my whole entire life. People told me, I used to, when I was about 10, all the way up to about 16, 17 years old, every time somebody told me, oh, Russell, you can't play, Division I-A football, you can't play baseball, you can't play quarterback in the National Football League, I would literally write it down and post it on my computer, right above my computer, and I would look at it every day. So that kind of fueled my fire when I was younger, but it also developed me into being a self-motivator. At the end of the day, if you look at the best basketball players, you look at Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or Michael Jordan, you look at Derek Jeter, if you look at other great football players in our league, the best players, are the self-motivators. You could look at a guy like Ray Lewis, a self-motivated person that, helps lift up everybody else. And that's what I want to do here, for the Seattle Seahawks. Do
you ever work, whether it's OTAs or training camp or even during the season, do you ever work mentally on trying to stay in the pocket?
Yeah, all the time. I think it's my #1 thing that I always work on. It's just my footwork within the pocket. A guy I watch, I had tons and tons of cut-ups of Drew Brees, and I watch him all the time. He's unbelievable in the pocket, and he moves extremely well.
So it sounds like he is a big role model for you.
Yeah, he is. I've read his book twice, and
Twice?
Yeah, I've looked up to him ever since I was probably 15 years old. So
why?
Just his faith, just the way he goes about his business. Very, very disciplined in his approach. And loves the game. You can tell that he's very poised, but also really, really competitive when the game's on the line. I think that's what you have to have when you're playing quarterback in the NFL.
Well, I have to ask you, because a lot's going to be made out of it as the season gears up. The rivalry with the 49ers. Did you expect it to become as big as it has?
You hope for it to. You want it to be two of the best teams.
You like it, huh?
Yeah, you want some of the top teams in your division to play against each other. And we got to play against them twice every year, and the type of scenes that we get to play in, atmospheres, playing here in CenturyLink, and then Levi Stadium or Candlestick, or whatever they call it now, just playing in those stadiums. There's nothing better against some great football teams.
Okay, I got to put you on the spot. Who's a better read option guy, you or Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, Kaepernick. He's a lot faster than me.
Oh, really?
I don't know. He's pretty fast. We don't really run it too much here. We kind of fool people and make it look like we do.
Maybe it's just because you scramble so much and so well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But, I want to hand the ball to Marshawn every time. You know, I got to hand the ball to beast mode and let him do what he does best.
You know, losing Percy at least, you know, there's talk about November, December, but what does that mean for this offense? Because there was high hopes to have him come in here.
Well, I still believe there's high hopes. You know, Percy's a tremendous football player, and we miss him to death. You know, he's a really good friend, and he's a great football player. Just having him on the field is like, it's just such a, you know, this energy, this explosiveness, you know, when he's on the field. And we have other guys that can, you know, step up and make plays, and we're excited about those guys. My biggest thing for Percy is I'm glad that, you know, he's getting healthy, because when we get him, when he's 100%, whenever that is, whether it's in November, December, or if it's after the season, you know, next season, you know, I can't wait. You know, that guy's unbelievable.
I have to believe if Russell Wilson was just reading the tag that comes on the underside of a mattress, he would make it interesting and you'd want to listen to every word he said.